All right. Brahman Menor, thank you so much for agreeing to being open to do this conversation with me. I've had the pleasure of going to one of your retreats.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first time that I saw you was, I think, in 2021, 22. I started to go to CAP sessions, Kundalini
Yeah.
activation process sessions.
Yeah.
And afterwards, sometimes I felt I was like in a flow and I was just like spontaneously opening like an account here, this, that. And I remember seeing Pranic Living. And I was like looking at it. I was like, no, this exists. This is real. This guy is offering it. And for me, it was like, wow, this is so amazing that this exists. And then a year later, or months later, I attended one of your retreats. It was
Mm.
truly amazing. So thank you so much for coming here.
All my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me and sharing this with the rest of the world.
Hmm. Can I ask you, can you maybe tell briefly who you are and what you do?
Well, well, as you said, my name is Brahman Menor. I'm 57 years old. And what I do at this moment is helping people to decondition their body to be able to fully live on life energy, to nourish their body with energy and be still able to enjoy daily life. So if they want to enjoy once in a while some food or drinks and um, combine that with the flow of pranic living, I call it pranic flow, then you are in the most magical way that you can be on this planet connected with this beautiful temple. So
Hmm.
that's what I help people with in just a very short um, explanation.
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask you, how did you come to learn about pranic living?
Well, that's a long story, so I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I had a pretty normal life until I was 35. I was a bodybuilder, an entrepreneur, made a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And then I had an awakening moment, awakening moment, an enlightenment moment, a moment of, whoa, being invited by Source to dive in myself to become more aware of what I am, who I am. The life that I was living, it was ego fulfilling, which was okay for me, but still it didn't feel right. So I quit everything. I stopped bodybuilding. I stopped eating 7,000 calories a day, and I started an awareness journey. And during that journey, I became aware that food disturbed my inner peace, disturbed my spiritual connections, etc., etc. So I started from eating everything, eating less, vegetarian, raw vegan, intermittent. I tried all diets, and the less I ate, the better I felt, but still I kept on losing weight. So as a bodybuilder, I knew that if you want to achieve something, you have to do it for a longer time. So each diet, I tried at least for a year to get most advantages out of that diet. But every year I lost 15, almost 20 kilograms. And the less I ate, the more I lost weight, but I felt better, clearer, less sleep, re-energized. My spiritual connections were, whoa, so in the moment. So I tried that for almost 13, 14 years. And then I gave up. I didn't know what to do anymore, which diet, how to stabilize my weight. And I ended as a liquidarian, so couple hundred of calories juicing with some water, and still I felt amazing, but my body weight was going down. And then I gave up. I really had no clue what to do anymore. I gave up, and after 2 weeks, I was a trainer in a journey um, weekend, And one of the trainers uh, in the pause, in the, how do you say
In the
that?
break.
In the break, yeah, sorry, in the break, came to me and he said, you know, you are so into eating as less as possible and health, etc., etc. So yeah, that's right. He said, I got a beautiful story because I have a woman living with me for the last couple of months. She's a breatharian and she hasn't been drinking and eating for 16 years. And immediately I knew this wasn't a button that was pressed. I knew this is my answer. And my body started shaking, started crying. So after that, I went home, opened my laptop, started searching, and I found breatharians, sun gazing, different teachers, and still I felt this isn't my way. I felt that I was going to go pranic or being breatharian or something like that, but not in a way that I read or what was taught. And a couple of months later, I was on a holiday break. I always take 1 week of silence for myself, leave all the books at home and my laptop and my cell phone, etc., etc., and just go into my deepest silence. And within 3 days, I received this process that I'm now sharing. But I
Mhm.
received it with all the knowledge and all the wisdom and all the exercises, and my body did breath work on the beach for half an hour. And immediately I knew this is something special, something that's going to help me
Mhm.
in my experience, in my, well, process of probably letting go, eating and drinking. So I did it. And after that, I stopped eating and drinking for 5 months. And after that, I started sharing it with the most beautiful people that resonate on this message.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, very beautiful. Can,
Mm.
can I ask you, how long has that been since you started to share?
This is my eighth year.
Wow. And you're
Yeah.
still thriving as Pranic Living?
Oh, still, yeah, 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 yeah. Well, so once in the 2 or 3 months, I have a little, yeah, a little nip here and there.
Mhm.
Even living in Spain when it's in the summer, 40 degrees, I don't drink. When you fully trust source, it will
Mhm.
provide anything that the body needs.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm living that for the last 7 years.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what steps does a regular person, just a person from the street, need to take to go from eating to pranic living?
Just find a retreat. No, it's not that simple. No, it's not that simple. You know, first, there is no way to pranic living,
Mhm.
but you need to follow certain steps to become independent of food and water.
Mhm.
And for example, what I teach people first, if you come to my retreat or weekend or do an online, start detoxing for 4 or 5 weeks to cleanse the body, to be open and receptible to your inner wisdom, your inner knowledge. And then you do the exercises to decondition our water. If you look to what Emoto researched, the Japanese investigator, that his conclusion was that water um, um, holds on to the memories of the past. All the memories, the traumas, the knowledge as well, positive, negative, and that's all in our water. And as long as there is in our water, um, if you drink not enough water, you dehydrate. If you don't eat enough calories, you will lose weight. If you don't eat healthy,
Mhm.
you will have a lack of vitamins and minerals. The body will respond to that, will react to that old knowledge. Although we
Mhm.
think different here, the body will react. So, what's most important is to decondition our body, and for what I teach people is to activate their cells and connect that activation to our physical cell regeneration. Because all your cells are changing 24/7 from your birth till the moment you die.
Mhm.
And what we reprogram is that when your cells are regenerating, it releases the past. It's
Mhm.
like a placebo effect. We can use our mind to reprogram program the body to release
Mm-hmm.
from that
Mm-hmm.
moment on. So
Mm-hmm.
that will take a year. And after a year, everyone that did this training, this transformation, can live on prana.
Mm-hmm.
So that's accessible for everyone. The only thing that's hard for a lot of people is letting go of food, because food
Mm-hmm.
is an addiction. It is our biggest addiction. It's everywhere. We use food to compensate every feeling in our body, every negative feeling in our body.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hardest thing to go pranic is not going pranic, because we are pranic human beings, and without the conditioning we are totally free, but it's letting go of all the thoughts and all the conditionings about food. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
hardest to go pranic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, when you were saying that, I was thinking like, does eating, the act of eating, is it something that's attached to being human or humanity? Because we come into this world sucking on the breast of the mother, usually, not always. And it's like it's already there. There's a connection and there's like an interchange, like receiving milk and being nourished or having that contact. Like, do you think it's attached to our humanity, or what do you think of that?
No, what I think is that we are programmed from day four, in the womb. So
Mm-hmm.
the first 3 days you are just a cell, dividing in more cells, and you're just floating in that womb, in the water, before we touch to the womb wall, and there is the placenta growing. So
Mm-hmm.
those first 4 days, we're really 100% pranic living without conditioning. The
Mm-hmm.
moment we connect to that placenta, or that placenta starts growing, we get the conditioning of our mother through the water into our cells.
Mm-hmm.
And there we are programmed. We are totally free in the first 3 or 4 days
Mm-hmm.
before we get that water from our mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm convinced that we are, as a human being, totally free without the conditioning. So it's not the physical program or the experience. It's all connected to the water and the traumas of our mother, and etc.
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I believe. So that memory, is in everyone, that we are totally free, and still
Mm-hmm.
food is part of an experience until you feel that your body's ready to let go of that experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you resonate, you resonate. If you don't, you're not ready to let go of that experience, and will probably eat for the rest of your life of have that experience. But the
Yeah.
moment you become aware and you feel the absolute freedom in pranic living, that only then you can make a decision. Do I want to stick to my addiction and my experience of food and drinking? Or do I want to experience a total freedom that we have never experienced in real life anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because we ate all the time?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Is it fair to say that because we take away everything that we're ingesting and we're putting our attention inwards,
Mhm.
that this like makes us or gives us more an ability or help to become more aware of who am I really? What's beyond these feelings, beyond these thoughts? What is really at my core, and really like come into contact with our beingness?
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, it's like, a fast track of a spiritual experience, because we are a
Mm-hmm.
spiritual human being. And the moment you peel away all the layers and all the mist and all the stress that food creates, and the mist in the mind, etc., etc., you will become that what you always are, without the disturbance. You are silence. You are source. You are God. You are Buddha. It's all
Mm-hmm.
what you really are, without the disturbance of life. So if
Yeah.
you take away the disturbance of life, you go back to what you really are. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a fast track to becoming what you are. Spirituality is meeting your spirit in this physical form.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Hmm.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah,
Now, you have your own method.
yeah,
It's the Menor method.
yeah, correct.
So, can you briefly explain how does it work? And for people who see this, like if they would want to try doing this without a method, what's like the difference of doing it with a method and without a method?
Oei. Well, okay, let me first explain
Mhm,
what I help people with. The most important thing is we start with a breath exercise that's going to help you to activate your water to connect with prana. That's the first part. Second part is to dissolve all vibrations that are in your water. And the third part is to release during the cell regeneration all that is dissolved. So that's the activation. Secondly, we connect that to your physical cell regeneration.
mhm,
Because as a spirit, we are source, we are soul, we are connected to just a physical form. And if you want to change anything, you need to change the physical form. So we connect that activation to the physical cell regeneration. That will take at least a year to regenerate all your cells a minimum of one time.
mhm,
Including that cell regeneration, we have to reprogram our DNA as well.
mhm,
Because especially in that first year, the moment we start training with a day without food and drinking, you will have a dry mouth, your stomach will react, your body can react. That's all programming to keep your body in a certain shape, in a certain form.
mhm,
So, for example, if you do an exercise or you do a workout for an hour without drinking, you have the feeling that your mouth is dehydrating, is dry. But if you stick out your tongue and you feel on your tongue, it's never dry. It's
mhm,
just a feeling. And because of that feeling, we are programmed to start drinking. So if you would start training the first year with prana days, you would have a dry mouth all the time and a stomach that is making a lot of noise and a body that's reacting on that. So we have to change our DNA as well. So
mhm,
those activation, cell regeneration, and your DNA is the basis of
mhm,
becoming pranic living.
mhm,
What I recognize is that a lot of people are trying to become a breatharian or a sun gazing or pranic living by themselves.
mhm,
But something that I can help people with, I don't know why. I can give it a lot of words, but I don't want to be the guru that says I'm the only one that can help you. But still, up till now, um, there is something in my energy that can help you to remember that this is possible and get 100% without doubt convinced that this is real.
mhm,
And that is the only thing that I can do for you. I can convince your water and your cells that this is possible
mhm,
without any doubt.
mhm,
If you are trying to do this by yourself, a lot of people make it a diet like fasting 1 week of only water. Then they
mhm,
lose 7, 8 kilograms. Then they start eating for a couple of weeks. Then they do fasting. That's not pranic living.
mhm,
Pranic living is be able to stop eating and drinking for days or weeks or months or even the rest of your life without losing no more than 2 or 3 kilograms. That's the food that is in your digestive system, a little bit of water that comes back a week later.
mhm,
So most people that did my change, my transformation, they stop eating and drinking after a year, for example, and they lose 2 kilograms, and there they stabilize.
mhm,
So their metabolism is very low. Their experience that they can live on prana is 100%, and they can go on for the rest of their life. So
mhm,
that's the biggest proof that what we do with this exercise is just a simple exercise and a visualization, that it works
mhm,
instead of make it a diet, or that's still okay, but that's not pranic living. For
Mhm.
example, Ray Maor, he's a pranic teacher. He did 1 week without eating and drinking. He lost 12 kilograms. For me, that's not pranic living.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's surviving. Pranic living is stopping eating and drinking and becoming as healthy as you can be. I'm almost 90 kilograms without eating and drinking for the last 7 years. You don't have to be skinny. You don't have to be without energy. You don't have to sleep that much, etc., etc. If you
Mhm.
fully embrace pranic living, you can stabilize your weight. You're fully energized, and you can do really everything in your life.
Mhm.
And you get the most healthy body that's possible.
Nice. Thank you so much for explaining that. So just because your metabolism is low doesn't mean that you have a low energy. You still have a lot of energy.
Oh yeah. Well, the difference is in normal life you get your energy from food, digesting food, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And the moment you switch, your metabolism goes up till 1-2% maximum. That's still needed to clean the body, to
Hmm.
regenerate everything, and to get rid of your toxins, etc.
Hmm.
Because that's always in the air and
Hmm.
in the vibrations. And you make the switch from physical energy that's in your food to, well, prana. You are
Hmm.
prana. You are always
Hmm.
connected to prana. You're not connected here. Every single cell is already prana. But when you
Yeah.
take out the conditioning, that cell is 100% free of pranic nourishment, and that's the difference. Yeah.
Mm. For skeptics who say this can't work, you have darm flora, billions of bacteria, and this and that, what would you say to them?
Um, Well, I always say that the best proof is do it by yourself. Have your own experience.
Hmm.
Secondly, try try to imagine that we live in a box of knowledge. Everything that we think is the truth has been changed in the last 50 years. So what's real? For example, 1 and 1 is 2. What is one? We um, we are we accepted that one finger or one person or one cell or one breath is one, but it's already five different things. And as long as you think that everything you know, for example, about food and water, is your truth, it's a limitation. I don't have a box anymore. I don't believe anything anymore. I experience everything, but I don't believe it anymore because freedom is having no limitation. I am not
Hmm.
this physical body. I am connected to this physical body, but I am everything that is.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that's the absolute freedom. So if people think this is absolutely not possible, for example, buy my online starter training and experience it by yourself. I had so many um, doctors, specialists, trauma therapists, Robert Bridgman, for example, and they experience it by themselves, and they felt, I went deeper than I've ever been before, and I feel more freedom than I ever felt before. Even with or without eating and drinking, it's all about freedom and not about stopping eating and drinking. For 50%
Mm.
it is, and for the other 50% is the absolute freedom without being connected to traumas, connected to old knowledge that doesn't vibrate anymore. And
Mm.
that's more important as an experience than not eating, not drinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you say the word freedom, many people may have different connotations or association attached to that word.
Yeah.
For some people, it may be travel. For some people, it may be like having a lot of sex or having a lot of money or whatever. And for me, when I hear that, it's like I feel like it's the quality of life that I have. Like I feel that I'm enjoying uh, uh, the life that I have because everything is either way. I have a physical body and I have a certain structure. So am I enjoying it or am I not enjoying it? How free am I in enjoying myself?
Mhm.
So, like, if somebody already has a quite good experience of like quality of life, um, might this still be interesting for them?
Of course,
Mhm,
because you will recognize what real freedom is the
mhm,
moment you are there. You know, we experience life as it is, with all the positive things, with all the knowledge, with all the negative things, and we are the creation of our own past. So everything that we experience, the physical form will react on. For example, everything that hurts, that has hurt us in the past, we don't want to go there, we don't want to experience it anymore. And everything that was positive, we want to have that as much as possible. But where is the freedom in between? If you want to make a choice, the brain is always calculating, is this um, 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 one of the conditionings or the positive one of the conditionings, and what is the most safe way to make a decision. If these two are completely gone, you can really feel in a moment what does the body really want,
mhm, mhm,
the known or the unknown,
mhm,
or just stay where it is without the fear or without the connection to the positive experiences. It's really
mhm,
what fits my life right now. You can
mhm,
you can um, you can experience life without our, well, personality
yeah,
or ego. It's just,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Whatever the brain says, it doesn't matter. You can make
mhm,
decision on soul level instead of the
mhm.
calculation of the mind.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when I hear you say that, I have like this image of like it's either I'm deciding and reacting from my identity, the
Mhm.
identity that is constructed,
Yeah.
or because of these experiences, I can be in presence, and in presence I can perceive. Here's the mind, here is what I truly know, here's what I
Mhm.
really feel, and I can see like what is really clear or true for me. What
Yeah.
do I resonate with instead of reacting with the identity?
Yeah. There is no story anymore. It's just
Hmm.
presence in the moment.
Yeah, nice. Hmm. You
Mm.
offer different packages, right?
Yeah.
Can you briefly like explain like what do they include? What is the difference?
Yeah. Well, first I have the retreat. That's 5 days, all included. All my experiences and all my um, knowledge that I experienced, I added to the retreat to give people their most amazing time in that moment, and it's including the pranic transformation.
Hmm.
That's one. That's the most expensive one.
Mhm,
The second one is a weekend, 2 days of just activating the physical body to start transformating to pranic living or freedom.
mhm,
And the third and the most affordable one is an online training. It's in English just to reach out to the rest of the world,
mhm,
and it's just 299. Everyone, well, almost everyone can pay 299, and it's a year training with all the exercises that's needed to become total free, to heal your body, to become pranic living. So it's all about, um, what do you want to invest in yourself, what is affordable for you, and how committed are you? In online
mhm,
training, you need to be really committed. It's really a year training. You need to read a lot. You need to embrace it all in your life. And you need to take those steps. So that's pretty hard for a lot of people.
mhm,
After a weekend, you're so energized and motivated that you think, all right, I'm going to go there. And after a week, we a 5 day retreat, most people are so motivated and have the experience. They feel it in every single cell of the body. That I hope you had the same experience.
Mm.
And they wanna step out of that past. Just step into that freedom. Let your body heal. Try pranic living if it fits your life or not. There's no failure. It's your destiny. If you feel one of the three possibilities, just do it as an experience and see what
Mm.
fits in your life. And so
Yeah.
for me at this moment, it's online to reach out to the rest of the world for as less as possible. That's the only one in English, by the way. The other two are still in Dutch. Next year we will do some physical trainings in English as well. So
Mhm.
that's 2026. Yeah.
Yeah, I can really recommend the in-person retreat. It's a very beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And you did
Um,
it in France, eh? So that's
yeah,
yeah.
it was gorgeous, and yeah, the atmosphere, the people, you, the whole program is just really, amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, um, people can also benefit from this who are also in enlightenment, in spirituality, not necessarily in pranic living. So they don't have to do pranic living.
No, definitely not. No.
They can still like eat and have their own like patterns, but use this as an experience to go deeper into their spiritual process.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yes, that's true. But the more you take out food,
Hmm.
the clearer everything becomes. So,
Yeah.
it's like a scale. This is pranic living, and it's really, yeah, it's so there are so many advantages without
Hmm.
the calories, even including water. But if you
Hmm.
take out the water as well, it goes even deeper. And this is food. And the moment you start taking food, it disturbs all the advantages of real pranic living.
Hmm.
So it's like a scale. The more you eat, the less you experience the magic in life. The less you eat, the more you experience higher energy, clearer connection, the stillness inside yourself. Your whole body is changing. It's getting more higher energy, but still it's like a cave. It's so silent inside that you just breathe out and you are
Yeah.
in the presence.
Yeah.
And even with becoming a healthier body or total health, as I always say, um, that's almost impossible with food. So
Mm.
you can have that freedom of letting go of your past, but spiritual and the real freedom, the food freedom, etc., total health. Yeah, that's more to the more to the pranic lifestyle. So
Mm.
can you do this for trauma release and healing your body from the traumas, etc., etc.? Yes. Becoming that magical life, then you really have to downgrade your food till 2, 3, 4, 5% maximum a day, or even none, to become that real, yeah,
Mm.
most magical life that you can really experience.
I remember when I made the decision to go to the retreat,
Yeah.
and then I drove with somebody else, and the moment that I left my house, it was like I was in this flow, and I felt so safe. Like it felt so good. It was like angels were surrounding me, or
Yes.
going with me on my path. I felt so safe, and then arriving there, super beautiful location. You were very friendly, very open. Like I gave you a hug. I felt like very good feelings. Then in the space in the room, it was gorgeous. The way you brought us all together, and we went into like connection as a group. Like we're all here together. There was like this feeling of safe and trust and recognizing everybody's here for their own process, but then we had to go into silence.
Yeah, as
So
well.
every day it was really like just like this really beautiful flow of being with the body, then going into the depth, and then having just like this open space for serenity, being in nature, very warm, receiving, listening to talks from you, having these experiences where you look into into our eyes.
Mhm.
Um, I must say it was really, really beautiful. It was one of the most like, yes, serene experiences, like very like profound and peaceful. It's like just as a retreat to go into peace and into like a warm container. It's very beautiful. And when I went home, like my sleep was so good and I felt better and I had so much like already like my life was changing so much. It was, yeah, it was really profound. Yeah,
Nice
really
to hear.
beautiful.
It is.
Can I ask you like what's like spirituality for you? What's like enlightenment for you?
Mm, well, for me, enlightenment and spirituality, it's just a word.
Hmm.
And for me, it's all becoming more aware of what you really are 24/7. We are not stillness. We are everything that is in connection with everything. We are divine energy, and becoming more aware of that. And it starts with a moment here and a moment there, and then in meditation. And the more you take out food and the conditioning, etc., it opens more and more. And you become more and more that this is just a temple, just a temple and an way to experience physical life. But for the rest, I'm free. I'm freedom. And that's awareness, that's
Mhm.
enlightenment, that's spirit, that's spirituality. The whole word spirituality is just meeting your spirit, and that's what you are. Meeting your spirit from your physical experience. Um, Let the physical experience meet you, that what you are.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's for me what my whole life after my 35 no yeah 35 years of age, that experience, and it brought me more and more and longer times in that connection. And at this moment, it's 24/7 open. This is what I am. This is the physical form, but I'm limitless. I'm always expansion instead of compressed within an aura. Or no,
Mhm.
yeah, it is what
Mhm.
it is. Everything that
Mhm. Mhm. Beautiful.
is.
Um, can I ask you, do you think that everything is like predestined?
For me, 100%. I don't, from the moment that I had an enlightenment moment that I didn't choose, I wasn't searching for what I am or my life. I thought my life was perfect. And somewhere I had an experience of, wow, what the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And everything that happened in my life really happened. I didn't create anything. I didn't do anything. It just appeared. So I don't believe in free choice. I don't believe in creation. Everything is there. Everything is on your timeline, in your book of life. From the moment we are connected to that first cell till the moment we die, your whole life is described or written, and we just follow the path, including the moments that we think, all right, I have a choice, I go left or I go right. There's just one as an open door. The other one is closed. Although we think we are here five doors, which one am I going to choose? You always choose that door that's already open for you for
Mm-hmm.
your next step. So I don't believe in any free choice, any form of creation. I always
Mm-hmm.
say to people that think that they can create life, why do we think that we can create the beautiful things And when we get ill, we didn't create that. It's just, no, that's part of life, or
Mm-hmm.
we are not able to create the beautiful things, and the rest is just life or an experience or blah blah blah. That's just a story of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
If we let go and just follow life
Yeah,
as it
yeah,
is,
yeah.
like a surfer on a wave, just follow life, and everything will um, appear in the moment. You are always living your destiny connected to that moment in your book of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that when you do like the pranic process, your
Mhm.
vibration rises and you're vibrating at your original or your highest frequency, your pure frequency, or however you want to say it?
Well, I always say we release the unhealthy vibrations,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's higher or lower, and
Mm-hmm.
you become your blueprint vibration, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
So we started somewhere as that one cell connected to the divine, and the whole divine is vibrating on a certain level, without giving it a frequency or a word.
Mm-hmm.
And we added in that water all those different vibrations. So
Mm-hmm.
some people vibrate very high and are very sick. Some people vibrate very low and don't feel life. But somewhere in between is a magical vibration of sort, like the Om,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a
Mm-hmm.
sound. And we go back to that blueprint vibration.
Mm-hmm. You make me think of something. You know Joe Dispenza?
Yeah,
Joe Dispenza, he says this thing, your personality creates your personal reality. So if the old personality had a sickness, the new personality doesn't have a sickness. It's a new reality. And it's like by if I hear correctly what you're saying, it's like by going into presence and releasing the conditioning and going into presence and you're vibrating at this pure frequency, you're then just flowing to what your life is supposed to be like at this frequency. So you don't have to constantly manifest and try to up and go here and choose because you're just vibrating at who you are. Is it fair to
that's
say it like
correct.
that?
Yeah, that's correct. Correct. Yeah.
Interesting. So you say like a book of life. Can you give a brief explanation how you understand that?
Um, well, the moment I had my enlightenment moment or awakening moment, all spiritual channels opened, and
Mhm.
I became from totally not aware to almost too aware. I felt
Mhm.
everything, I saw everything, I saw different energies, I saw energies around people, in people, I saw people as soul, and well, the whole package was included. And I started seeing some sort of timeline. We are born here. This is where we are right now. And this here, it ended. And it was the beginning and the end was source. It became light. And in between was life.
Mhm.
And um, the more I became aware of that, it became like a movie. I could zoom in up till the every second of a day, and I could really see what was happening there, or in the future, or in the past. And I thought, okay, if this is what I see with people, I started talking to people and asking, um, are you pregnant? What, are you sick? What is happening in your life? Are you divorcing your partner? Are you happy? Because that's what I saw. And it,
Mhm.
it was 100% true.
Mhm.
What I asked was exactly what they were struggling with, what they were experiencing in life at that moment. So from that moment on, I started looking back to my own life. What happened in my life that I could recognize, and I recognized in that moment as well, um, without creating anything. For example, I was engaged with a woman when I was um, 20, 19, 20 years of age. She was the same age. And I met my previous partner. Within 5 seconds, I felt you are going to be my wife. I knew that from that, and I was 20, she was 15, driving a scooter and having fun in
Hmm.
life, and every weekend a different partner, and having enjoying life. And I said, I know that we're going to be really long together, not forever, but really long, making each other really happy. And she said, well, we'll see. And it lasted for 31 years. So all those moments I felt in the moment that it was predestined. It was
Yeah.
it
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So the
Thank.
more I investigated, the more I became aware that everything just happened at the right moment, at the right time.
Yeah.
And, there went my freedom of choice out of the door.
Mm. Mm. Um, can you say something about how pranic living impacted your relationships, intimate, private, and in general?
Um, well, when I did my pranic process, I took my ex-partner with me,
Mm.
and we had an amazing life at that moment, until that moment. And she did a pranic process, I did a pranic process, and then your vibration starts to change. And my book of life, it's really powerful. It's really, I need to do these steps, and I follow these steps, and I am not able to adapt. In my book of life is really straight on. I have a destiny, and I'm going for the destiny. My partner had a different book of life. She was the one that followed me and supported me, and then her energy started to change, and she felt, it is time to follow my own path of life.
Hmm.
And that's still in her book of life. Eh? It's sometimes hard to understand, but it was her time to step in her own power, in her own creation, instead of following me.
Yeah.
So that change, that was the first change that I thought, okay, I didn't see that one coming. So we really had a period of couple of months of, whoa, what the fuck's going on here? I felt my heart was ripped out, although I knew that it was part of life and it was okay. We loved each other, and if she wanted more freedom, take your freedom. Although I felt the pain in my heart,
Mm.
um, but it was okay.
Hmm.
And after that, the one thing after another changed. I got a new partner that supported my business, and she knew that from well, the moment she was 11, 12 years old, she knew I am going to support, or to embrace a partner, to live with a partner that is changing the world, or helping to change the world in a
Yeah.
better way. And it took her almost 30 years to become my partner, because I wasn't available.
Hmm.
So even that was part of her life, and so many things changed. When you really take out food and water, you
Yeah.
become so super sensitive that having sex is nothing. It will become more like tantra. It become more the sensitivity that brings you to a super high level. And then,
Hmm.
of course, you can embrace sexuality or sexual energy in that moment, in that connection, but it has um, less meaning than a connection with the person.
Hmm. Hmm.
So there are so many advantages if you do this process, becoming more free, making your own choices, changing or letting go of your old vibrations. Your whole life is most of the time changing.
Yeah. And like when you embrace the pranic living lifestyle, and you are like in a social setting or with family, do you find that it had a big impact on the relationship itself, or was it also easy to adapt?
Well, as a bodybuilder, I was already different than the rest of my
Yeah.
blended family. I took my own food and I didn't eat what didn't fit my bodybuilding diet. So I'm not that connected to adapting to the rest of the world. But
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, my parents, especially my father, he's like a Bourgondier. He loves to eat and to cook, and it's very social for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of his conditioning, his life, his happiness. And when you have a son then that says, I'm not going to eat and drink anymore when I'm with you, his whole body started to become angry and emotional. And so it took him 2 years to accept that I could be there when they were eating and drinking, and I was just present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
for 2 years, he was really, yeah, feeling that anger or that resistance, or yeah, his mind had all types of stories. And at this moment, he's 83 and he knows my lifestyle. Still, he tries. So when I'm there, he says, "Do you want a cup of coffee, or are you again in a period of eating and drinking nothing?" And for the last 4 years, I didn't eat and drink anything with him.
Yeah.
So just with Christmas, I adapt a little bit, but for the rest, I don't socialize with food or drinking. It's just being
Mm-hmm.
there. So it don't have has to change if you feel that you have to adapt. It's just story of the mind.
Yeah. Like, can I ask for you, what's your perspective on relationships people have and what do they hinge on? Like, what is a relationship for you?
Yeah. Well, relationship is just a word. Eh?
Uh-huh.
If I look to two people that are living together, before pranic living, before the freedom of pranic living, there's always an unhealthy vibration that the other one vibrates on. It's like positive and negative. If you vibrate on the need of safety, your partner is the one that gives you the safety, and it will embrace you and nourish you and blah blah blah. When you do the pranic process and that unhealthy part of needing that safety releases, there is no need for this partner to embrace anymore. And that's for example the biggest change, that when two people are like two magnets, they always give each other something to compensate something unhealthy. And when you release those parts, there is a moment or of becoming aware what's happening, adapting or not, and then they leave. So this process is not without danger. The danger is that you can lose your partner, that you can lose your job, that something more beautiful that's resonating on your vibration in this moment attracts something new. New
Mhm.
people, new friends, new kind of work, new
Yeah.
place to live. So
Mm.
when I look to relationships, it's most of the time, on a deeper level, an unhealthy relationship.
Mm.
Although people don't want to accept that, but it's most of the time they give each other something to compensate something negative. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I ask your perspective, like before pranic living, like doing inner work, like family constellations or doing trauma work, and then after pranic living, like is your perspective the same on it, or do you look at it different now?
Well, I didn't do that much work. I started looking at all those, well, let's call it tools and tricks. Um, I didn't experience that much. I just researched them. I start feeling what is it doing, and the moment I started working with this method, I recognized that there are so many um, tools that give you an experience, but it doesn't change that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an judgment, eh? It's still a beautiful experience. It makes you aware, but you still have to do something to change that part that you became aware of. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like ayahuasca and family constellation, and they're beautiful tools to become more aware of what's happening in your life, but you still have to do the work. If you do the pranic process, everything that is in your body that can make you sick, or create the box of limitation, flows out of your body without doing the work. The absolute freedom by this um, deconditioning your water is limitless.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolute. It's so
Mm-hmm.
different than all those other processes. The combination is amazing, but you don't need the rest anymore when you just release your body from the past.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's also the
Wow.
reason that a lot of people heal when they have physical challenges, from simple illnesses to, yeah, really, really life-threatening illnesses. It's
Yeah.
trauma and the weakness of the body, the weakness of an immune system, the nourishment of um, um, carbohydrates and proteins. When you take it all out, you can never be ill. It's impossible.
Mm. Can I ask you, where do you see the world going to, like the direction that the world is going to?
Well, as I said, I believe in the book of life. I see
Yeah.
a book of life, and book of life is part of source. We are source.
Mm.
So everything is perfect as it is in the moment. Although we completely destroy this planet, it's still needed to become more aware.
Mhm.
And if you look to the children that are born, the children that are 3, 4, 5 years old, they have a different awareness than we had, and we had a different awareness than our parents. So evolution is because we are connected to source. Source becomes not more aware, but evolve. And the children that are born are a connection to that evolvement. So they become more aware. Pranic living, for example, if 10% of the people on this planet has experienced pranic living or become aware that it's possible, we are still connected to that source. Within 43 years, 10% has been reached, not only by me, but by everybody that's sharing anything about pranic living. The children that are born at that moment are very aware that they don't need any food anymore. They will still enjoy the enjoyment of the taste, but they don't fill up their body. They are not connected to the traumas of the past because their body and their DNA has already been changed by us. So they don't stick 40, 50, 60 years to the vibration of the past. Their body's already releasing the past all the time. So
Yeah.
they are able to just enjoy one bite of an apple and share that with the rest of the group, or a tomato. And it's not about
Yeah.
a meal, it's about the socialization of the taste, and that's it. But
Mm.
we are going there, and it will take us 70 years to have a parent and a child that can grow up in that absolute freedom, and that will change the world together with all the other changes that are also going on the planet. So imagine that the whole world just eats 2 or 3% of what we eat right now.
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
is more than enough for the whole world to live on, to have that experience. They nourish the body with prana. They don't have a weakened immune system. They release traumas all the time if they had a negative experience. So we can never get ill. Hospitals can get closed. We don't have the mist in our system, the stress in our system. So we can reach the wisdom instead of knowledge easier. So schooling will be different. The whole planet will change in 20, 40 years after becoming aware.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Thank
the
you for
reason that I
explaining that.
received this process just to reach that 10%, so awareness can change on especially this level. It
Yeah,
has
yeah,
so
yeah.
much impact on all layers of society.
I remember you told me once I was talking about like teachers of enlightenment, and you told me there are teachers and there are avatars.
Hmm.
Would you mind sharing a little bit about that or explaining that a little bit?
Well, an avatar is what an avatar is for me is
Hmm.
someone that is um, fully aware 100% that they are source.
Hmm.
So when they feel that 24/7, they share that energy as well. And that
Hmm.
energy can be recognized is um, um, like a fuel. It will help you to recognize that you are the same. So people can have most beautiful experience up till enlightenment moments within that energy. A teacher, most teachers, they learned from experiences, they studied books, but what they share is knowledge, not wisdom. And for me, that's the biggest difference. If you go to a teacher that really is like an avatar that shares that energy, and within that energy, the wisdom that comes with it, that's more an avatar that gives you a different um, freedom than going to a teacher that shares knowledge. And knowledge is mind energy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what's in the way of enlightenment is mind and food. So do you wanna empower the mind, or do you wanna empower the stillness in yourself? That's what you really are. And
Yeah.
that's for me the difference. The avatar is more the teacher that teaches from the connection, the simplicity of life, instead of the wisdom and a lot of noise and a lot of different energy.
If I remember correctly, you said there are only a couple of like numbers of avatars at the same moment on Earth, right? That there's not a lot, only a limited set of right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
How many was it, or how?
12.
12.
It's
Okay.
always 12. The one had to die to, well, not incarnate in another one, but to open the gate to someone else to become an avatar as well.
Do you mind sharing some or not? Or
Well, um, 50% of the avatars are real normal people
hmm.
and people we don't know.
Wow.
We think that an avatar is most of the time a famous guru, or
Mm-hmm.
50%
Mm-hmm.
that they're just living their life, but having impact just by being here. Balance is
Wow.
created by the 12 avatar points on this planet.
Wow.
In the past, for example, mm, Sai Baba was an avatar in India, the small guru. He was a 100% avatar. You can sit in front of him and he can tell you your whole book of life. I can tell you your book of life as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's in India you're then at that moment the guru and the ashram. In the Western world, it's different. There's more resistance to words and ego, and so um, being an avatar in the Western world is more difficult than being an avatar in India, because then they recognize you, they feel you more, and there's less ego. They want to follow the avatars, they want to follow that energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Papa G was, for example, an avatar. And in India, there are always only 3 or 4 avatars all the time, and when now one dies, in incarnation, it's incarnating in a different person that's already alive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that.
Mm,
Mm. A couple more things about pranic living.
yeah.
Can you, from your own experience and the people that came to you, share about like the money savings because of pranic
Oh,
living and what impact that had?
oh yeah. Well, I saved with two persons at least 1,500 euros a month.
Mm.
Because when you make a little bit more money, you buy different foods. So we had the superfoods and all the supplements, and we went once twice a week to have a dinner or a cup of coffee. And so the moment we together started living like this, my partner, she just keep on drinking water and tea. At the end of the month, I saw, whoa, I've saved this amount of money. It was really so much more than I was aware of,
Mm.
including your skin will be hydrated different, your hair becomes less oily. I don't use any shampoos anymore, no more soap. I don't use deodorant, etc., etc. So if you include that as well, especially in the last couple of years, because prices are raised, or well, it, prices are crazy at this moment. So
Yeah.
I think you can save at least 1,000 euros a person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, that's also a reason um, um, to make choices for a lot of people. Eh? So
Mm-hmm.
it's spending less money, working less because they don't need that 40-hour paid job anymore. They don't want to have mortgages anymore. They just want to live smaller, spend less, travel more, have more freedom. So it's includes so much more than just stopping eating and drinking. The freedom is also having the ability just to downgrade your job to 5, 10, 20 hours a week, work
Yeah.
less, spend
Mm.
less, do more beautiful things.
Hypothetically, if your metabolism is now really low, like for instance, if your metabolism is low, could you bring it back up again and and make your system again able to eat and have a high metabolism and work like before?
Oh
You
yeah, of
could.
course. Yeah. You could
Okay.
only, when I start eating 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, my metabolism will go up. The first two, because it takes a couple of weeks, and 6 or 8 weeks to get it up again. In the first couple of weeks, you will gain quite a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Then you will stabilize, the same as going down. You will stabilize as well, and you will lose your energy. You will sleep more. You will sweat more. There is the spiritual connection is almost fading away, and well, all those advantages you will lose. So for me,
Yeah.
those advantages are too precious to start eating and drinking all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
But the physical body is still the physical body. I after 5 months before I started teaching, I wanted to know, does it still work? So I started with a glass of water and I thought there's nothing in a glass of water. Well, I felt the whole water system, all the minerals, all um, the energy of the pumps. I felt the planet where it came from, and the process plant. It's all of the vibration of water. So my whole body went whoa,
Wow.
completely off the grid. Said, what the fuck is this? And that was
Yeah.
just a glass of water.
Mm-hmm.
And it took
Mm-hmm.
me a couple of days to reset. Then it took a glass of tea. It doubled. Then a cup of coffee, then a pizza. So I tried everything. and everything worked, and I gained some weight again. And
Mhm.
but I thought the 2 months that I tried it were the worst months of my life. But after months, I started recognizing that this was how I felt for the 49 years
Mhm.
before Pranic Living.
Mhm.
And if you now think that you feel okay, life is okay, I feel okay, you have no clue. Go there, experience how it can be, and then you know that you don't feel that well at this moment. A lot of people say, well, why would I change? You know, I love eating and I
Yeah.
feel okay. And you have no clue how magical life can be without.
It's like, what would life be about if I don't have to work, if I don't have to
Ah,
eat, if
yeah,
I don't have to spend so much?
definitely, definitely. Yeah.
And for me, when you said all that, I was like, oh yeah, then it's just about I'm choosing to be who I really am and surrender to life and follow the flow of my life and just witness what do I resonate with, where do I want to be, what do I want to do, what wants to come through me, and
Hmm.
live in the flow of life
Yeah.
instead of being a person trying to save
Yeah.
enough money to
Yeah.
escape
Absolutely right.
or create something for yourself where you're like, I can have a little bit this and a little bit of this.
Hmm. No,
Mhm.
well, most people that um, that did this process in the first 2 years, they don't want to let go that fast. So they want to embrace
Mhm.
pranic living and they want to embrace their old life, including enjoyment of the social, eating and drinking, blah, blah, blah. And in those 2 years, they are becoming more aware of, okay, this doesn't work. What is happening? What do I want to hold on or what do I want to let go? And
Mhm.
it's a magical path just to experience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like you're choosing to experience the fullness of life and peace, a
Yeah,
lot of peace from inside instead of trying to get it from outside.
yeah.
But I think there must be also probably perhaps people who really can balance life and everything that's happening, and they're okay with that also.
Well, my life didn't change. I still go out to have a dinner with friends. I
Mm.
only don't eat and drink. I still go when it's warm, to have a drink with friends and enjoy the
Yeah.
sun and enjoy the conversation, but I don't drink.
Mm.
So you can live your life to the fullest with all the fulfillment without eating and drinking.
Yeah.
Because every bite, every drink that you have will disturb your inner peace and your all the advantages.
Mm.
So I prefer to have it all without the enjoyment of food.
Mm.
When you eat something, I can smell your eat and I can still remember. I don't have the emotion on that food anymore, but I can still remember how it was. I
Yeah.
don't feel the emotion connected to it, but I still know how most things were. But I also know that if I take it, it will disturb my inner peace and all the other advantages.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that anymore, or as less as possible.
You had a near-death experience, right?
Hmm.
Can you, if you want, can you say something about what happened there and how that impacted your life?
Yeah. After doing the pranic transformation, um, there was a night, almost a year later, where my heart stopped for 3 times. My wife was called in the middle of the night. My ex-wife was called in the middle of the night by a voice and the voice said, "You have to wake up and you do reanimation. You say, yeah,
CPR.
CPR, yeah,
Yeah.
um, because his heart stopped, and well, that was her part. For me, it was like an incarnation. My I saw my new book of life. I saw my new incarnation
Mhm.
from that moment on till the day that I released this physical form. And that was needed to become fully aware of the impact of what I I'm bringing in to this planet at this moment.
Mhm, mhm.
So due to the incarnation, they said there's another name coming, so it became Brahman Menor instead of Win. Win was my previous book of life. Brahman Menor is your next book of life. It's connected to India, to an Indian guru that has died. And this is what you're going to do. So I saw every day of that book of life for the next 30, 35, 40 years
Wow.
and 43 years.
Mhm,
And yeah, I fully surrendered to that energy and to that book of life. So it
mhm,
was again my first enlightenment moment was going into nothingness. It was just no experience, just I am without a word. And the second was still connected to the physical body as a spirit. So I could experience the message that came through. Yeah.
mhm,
And
mhm,
it was the most extreme experience that I had, but becoming reconnecting to this body and like incarnating to this physical form because you experience in a second everything that source has experienced on this planet from the trillions of years ago to the day of today. All positive, but all the negatives, all the pains up till enlightenment as well in the same moment. So it was a real yeah, horrifying experience because it was really extreme. So that's the reason
mhm.
that my heart stopped the second time and the third time as well. It was almost unbearable to experience that in that moment. Yeah.
Wow. Hmm, hmm. So it's fair to say that pranic living is supporting you in becoming who you really are. It's fair to say,
According to your book of life, yes.
according to your book of life. Hmm. And I guess there are in the world also other things that are available to help people become who they are.
Of course, yeah, yeah. There are, you can go to India, go to an ashram, sit there for 10 years and experience the same. But in the Western world, people don't wanna, well, one in a trillion, don't wanna sit in a cave or in an ashram for 10 years. Pranic
Mm,
living or the process of pranic living is like a highway to enlightenment.
mm,
It's in the Western world everything is fast. We like to do ayahuasca just to experience source, but it doesn't change anything. It doesn't connect to the here and now. If you
mm,
take away the mist, if you take away food, you are always knowing what you are. You become what you are.
mhm,
That's the
mhm.
difference. It's really like a highway to enlightenment.
After I came back from the retreat, I love the feeling that you have after you do the breath work, where you just like,
Ah,
and
yeah, yeah,
there's this stillness, clarity, and just like this spaciousness, this peace.
yeah.
And yeah, it's so clear from in that state. So I think I almost did the breathing exercises every day for almost a year or a bit less than a year,
Yeah.
every day, almost 30 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. Like, and I tell you, like in the first weeks, I was like screaming and shouting and making these sounds, releasing. And my neighbor was like banging, like, what are you doing? Stop doing this. And I was like, no, I'm going through my process. And it's interesting, at a certain point,
Mhm.
I when I was in stillness, I could sense that in my body there was like certain energy structures or almost like worms or something,
Yeah.
like a certain structure, and my hands would start to take it out. And the moment I took the things out, I felt like this purity, this pure feeling of everything is like perfect, like
Yeah.
pure. And I was like,
Mhm.
wow. And it started to unfold. And then later I also started to like to pray to Jesus Christ. It came like spontaneous. And then later, like a year later, after the pranic uh,
Transformation.
transformation, I met a shaman and he showed me like this flower of like a purple flower. And I started having like all these feelings and I started to have like these activations. And he's like,
Mhm.
this is the exorcist flower. And he's like, I think you are an exorcist. And I was like, whoa. And I started to go a bit into that. And it's interesting because I remember when I started to pull this out of me, and I was like, can I do it with others as well? And I tried it with my wife, and I pulled something out of her, and she felt like better. But then I had like my mind was like, what what right, what authority do I have to take something away from people? Who am
Mhm.
I? Who gave me that
Mhm.
authority? Maybe they need it for a lesson or whatever. And I was like, no, I can't do that. And it's very interesting that after the pranic retreat, like these things were like I was becoming aware of it, and also like I was immediately thrown into this place where I was doing breath work with a group, like the breath work exercises that you were sharing with us. I was sharing with like a group of 40 people, and yeah, I was working with people. It was such an acceleration after the retreat. It was really amazing.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, everything that you do is perfect as it is according to your book of life. So even having the feeling that you're taking away things, you're just balancing their water. And
Mm,
everything is the water is vibrating, and there are positive and negative experiences in that water. And you can just balance their water like a singing bowl or taking out certain vibrations, and it can help people, of course. Are we
mhm.
healers? No, we have to heal ourselves, but you can still help people to balance their water. And
Yeah.
that's all the things that we do as healers or as teachers, or is balancing other people with their water.
Mm,
Everything
nice.
is vibration, everything is water. So working with sounds, working with words, working with touching people or
Hmm.
massaging people, or it's all balancing water. And the more your water gets balanced or gets um, released, get to your get uh, um, closer to your blueprint vibration.
Yeah. I- if a person came up to you and he was like, or she said, I want to realize my full potential as a human being, what would you say?
Well, as a pranic teacher, stop eating and drinking, but do the right process.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
First, I would say you already are, but you're missed on the line. There is a restriction in your experiences because you are source, you are God, you are the creator, but you don't feel it from your physical form. So if you take away water, food, etc., even for a period, you can experience what you really are. And then you can make the decision, okay, do I want to embrace it, or was just experience enough to know what I really am?
What's your vision for humanity? What do you want to leave for humans?
Um, well, that we see each other as equal, that we really see each other as brothers and sisters without our own ego. I know that we are evolving to people that don't live from the I, but live from the we. If we want to change the planet, we all need to change to we as one humanity instead of I. People say that they want to change, but if government says, give me all your money and your land and your house, and we will share, it's going to be war all over the world because no one likes to share everything. And that's because we live from the I. And that's the ego. That's me in my life, in my book of life. So
Mhm.
we're going to evolve to pranic living, including um, yeah, becoming more aware that it's all about we instead of I. We can only change the planet from that moment on.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Mm.
Um, one more thing. I I was invited to join a training,
Mhm.
and when I feel into my heart, it says yes, trust. When I go into my mind, it says, am I sure? Am I not sure? For me, not for me. Do I want to be like this person who's doing this? Like I see what this person is doing. Do I also want to be in a position where I'm doing this? Yes or no? So I have like this doubt here. Then if I do a prayer, I'm like, God, give me a sign. The message that's come like you are already divine. You are already pure. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
If I feel into the emptiness and I sense a vibration like yes or no, it's like yes. If I'm aware of all that, what is the right one?
Well, most of the time, the first that you feel is the right one.
Okay.
I hear the same about Pranic Living. So many people hear a message, 3 seconds, they start crying, they feel it, and they say, okay, I recognize it, I recognize what he's sharing, and I want to go. Then they go to the website, and then the brain is it real? It costs so much money. It takes you at least a year. You have to adapt, blah, 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 blah. But the first feeling is always right.
Yeah.
So if you follow not the mind, just your first intuition, it's always right. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to become the same person as the teacher. You always experience that what that gift, you always receive that gift that's already there for you to experience.
Mm.
So I always say pranic living is like a sausage. We people say, oh, I want to go pranic, 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 but you don't never know for what reason you're coming to my
Yeah.
retreat or weekend or
Yeah.
online. You know after 2 or 3 years.
I must say, like, it's really worth the whole price, like the whole experience. It's one of the most beautiful experiences. It's really amazing, and I can recommend it to everybody who's watching it to
Mhm.
really join your retreats. And you have a very beautiful energy, presence, and guidance. So it's 100% recommendation.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to share or say as a last?
I always say don't try to go pranic by yourself because you can
Mhm.
really die. You can lose a lot of weight, although you feel amazing, you can still lose too much weight and you can really die. Find the teacher which you resonate and do and let you be guided by that energy because then it's pretty safe. Although I don't support a lot of other teachers. I see a lot, like I said, Rayma or that loses a lot of weight. It's a nice process, but I'm not convinced that you can go pranic there.
Yeah.
So really feel, um, find a teacher that you can feel instead of the mind thinks that it's interesting to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really feel the resonation with the right teacher.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
I will stop the recording now.